And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Today we're taking a look at a game called Rail Pass from Mercury Games. And the thing about Rail Pass is this. The game is literally about passing trains to other people. There's a lot of games where you're delivering cubes to different cities. Railroad games where you go down and deliver cubes. Very thoughtful, thinky games. Rail Pass is not a thoughtful, thinky game. Well, it might be a thinky game, but it's real time. You're passing trains to other people as fast as you can without dropping the cubes, and everyone's doing it at the same time. It's very confusing and chaotic, and here's how it plays. Now I have the board here probably closer together than they would be in a real game. There's different configurations. You can see this is one for a 3-player circle. There's different groups that you can play with, and different players will have control over different train yards. So for example here, I control the black and the red train yard. There's yellow, blue, green, and white. Each train yard has 2 trains in it, a long and a short. It has a spot for 2 trains, although you can put the short in either one. You also have 3 engineers of your color. 2 are in the trains and 1 staying here at the hotel. And then there's a bunch of goods thrown in there that are randomized. There's 4 of each color except for the color of your yard. You've 10-minute rounds in this game, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the goods back to the correct yards that they belong at. At the end of the game, you're going to multiply the 2 lowest numbers by each other. So let's say I got 7 black cubes back and 12 of these, so then that would be 84 points that we would get over the course of the game, minus points for cubes that you may have dropped over the course. And you need to get 100 points to win. So the game is real time. So as soon as the game starts, what you can do are various things. You can start loading trains. You can load them from either end. And you'll notice that these trains have some colors on them. That's only for the advanced game. That means they have a spot for a red and a black cube, and then the other 3 can be anything you want. So you're going to put these cubes in here, and you're going to then be moving these trains around. So when you pick a train up, and you can pick a train up as long as it has an engineer, that train is now traveling. To give it to another player, you say toot toot. You might have to pass it underneath a tunnel or through the bridge, but you can hold the train in your hand, and then maybe I could move this one here. But there's some rules. An engineer will only go to their own area or to one away. So this black engineer here will not go to the yellow area, the green, or the white. It will only be in black, blue, or orange. So as an action, when a train is parked somewhere, I can take the engineer out and put a different engineer in to move the trains back and forth. Now I just set this down to show you that during the game, you're not allowed to set these down. So you can hand them to somebody else. You can only set them down in an open spot in front of you. Once a train lands, so for example, let's say I was able to put this red cube here, I can move it right here and drop the red cube off. Other than that, you can never take the cubes out of the trains. If a cube falls for any reason, they get put in the middle. If you drop the whole train that gets in the middle, you're going to lose if that happens because it's worth quite a few negative points. And also, people would probably drop a train on purpose because they would then have an extra spot to move things in. And the game is very frenetic. You're just passing stuff around as quickly as you can using the timer, and the game will end after a certain amount of time. And then you're going to, like I said, count up the scores. You can only pull cubes from the ends here on these rows and put them in trains, and then you're just trying to move them around as quickly as you can. The game comes with these are very sturdy trains. They're hard. It's plastic, but they're nice and firm, and you're going to be passing them around a lot, and they're not hard to hold and pass. And these pegs are big, thick plastic pegs. I don't know that they necessarily look that great, but for functionality, and you're passing things around. Now, this is a colorblind person's nightmare. There's just colors. These boards don't look any different, really, and so blue cube goes to the blue board, red to the red. So if you have any problems with that, that's problematic. There's these tunnels here. The game also comes with some arrows. These arrows can be put on a board just to show you the shortest way to a certain color, which might help you out. And it also comes with obstacles. You can't go certain directions between them, and that all depends on the layout that you have. The rules were okay. I felt like they were kind of written haphazardly. They show you the game overview, and they go through player actions, and I felt They were fine, but I felt that they could have been written slightly better. But they're good enough to understand how the game works. Overall, the components are fine. This game's not going to be for everybody. There's going to be some people, a lot of people, who aren't going to enjoy this. I did enjoy it. There's one rule I'm not a big fan of. That's the whole having to say toot toot every time you pass it to someone. Since you pass trains in this game and approximately 200 billion times, saying toot toot that many times and having multiple people say toot toot is more annoying than me saying toot toot during this video. And the rule book says mandatory. Okay, it is, except you can't make me. I'll do what I want. And that's one thing I would house rule out instantly. Because the game's already frenzied enough. You're passing trains around and like, oh, we need to get these red cubes over here. Oh, switch the engineers out. Now, the easiest rule to miss is the engineer rule that they can't go that far from their city. They don't want to be too far from home, thematically. And that's a really easy rule to miss. Pass a train. Wait a minute, that red engineer shouldn't be over there. Oh, we got to reverse all that stuff. That's the one thing that people will consistently forget. I almost wish there was a way to better remember that, other than you getting shocked when you try to move the train. I couldn't think of one. But, what you see is what you get here. You're just trying to get these cubes and trying to most efficiently move them. I pass the train here. Oh, I can put some red cubes on this one. I don't have any red cubes, but I can throw some white cubes because we're passing the white station on the way to the red station. So it's back and forth, crazy. It's like I said, frenetic and frantic, and just everything's going on at the same time. But I think a lot of people will still have fun and enjoyment playing the game. But you will know from me explaining whether you'll like it or not. It's a short type filler game. I found it to be amusing. I thought the components were a lot of fun. It has a few minor things, like I said, the components, colors are an issue, and I don't like saying the toot toot. But for the rest of it, I thought it was a lot of fun. And while I wouldn't want to play it all the time, sometimes I want to think it's very entertaining when it does come out, and it's even more fun sometimes to watch others play it. Dice Tower Judgment approved.